Set 5 between Luncheon Stars and STX Seoul. The Pro League Grand Finals currently tied up 2-2. And here's our Zerg player, Zero, from Luncheon Stars. I believe he's spawning in the bottom left-hand position in the yellow.
Yeah, and remember, this is Zero's, well, not first finals, but first final in Pro League.
Yeah, that's true. He has actually been in the finals before.
Against Flash.
Yeah, against Flash.
Kind of rough.
Yeah, he got smacked down.
Yeah.
Flash in his prime, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. His opponent from STX Seoul spawns as Red Protoss on the bottom left position of the map. His name is Trap.
So, what kind of trap will be set up for Zero today? Eagerly waiting to find out. I have a feeling that this game is going to be a lot different from last game. There's going to be something that's something's going to be different here. There's going to be some type of weird sneaky cheese or just different opening or build order.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see how Trap opens up. Remember, he did put a pylon inside the main base, which means that either he's going to go for the Forge inside the main base expansion or open up Gateway first.
Yep, exactly.
So already slightly different as we have the epic music kicking in for Starcraft2.
I love this music, man. This is like my favorite track from Starcraft2.
So good, man. I mean, back in Wings of Liberty, we had the 3 tracks, and we were like, oh, okay, that's cool. But in StarCraft2, they revamped the music, and now I'm happy with the music in the background.
I'm a lot happier with it as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I would have to rank this track specifically up with the ones from Broodmore.
Oh, yeah. Others not so as much, but this one
this is like the best one. This is like the ace track. The soundtrack.
And look at this. Trap actually opening up really greedy, but it's going to work out as his opponent opened up hatchery first.
Yeah, exactly. So he will also spot that hatchery first. Can't really get rid of that at all.
Hold on.
Oh,
are we seeing this again?
Yeah, we are. We're gonna see a 3 hatchery.
Just like Soulkey, man. These guys are brothers. They're good teammates, and they always do the same build in Pro League. As we have Zero going for the 3 hatchery before pull.
I guess he's really anticipated some type of gateway opening here. We have the Nexus first, but there's a Forge follow-up behind this.
Yeah, remember, if he scouts the spawning pool inside the main base, he can go for the cannon rush outside of the range. Now
he's gonna see the spawning pool timing as well.
And this is something that Zero did not expect. If his opponent went for the greedy build, he sees a spawning pool, he sees that, wait a minute, that's super late.
Please, I think that you have the cannon rush at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be a fantastic build. It's going to be fantastic for Trap if he can pull it off, and he's even ignoring the natural. He's going to try to see where the 3rd base has been put down to make sure that his opponent went for the 3 hatch before pull.
Confirms the 3rd bases as well. Let's see if he builds a few pylons and cannons behind here. I think he's in the position to do it, man. He can get away with it.
Oh, but he already has a drone over there. Garimto also. Is that Garimto?
Yeah, that is Garimto.
Just double checking because I don't want to get the names wrong. But look at this. Zero already being smart. He sends a drone over there. Yes, it's a long distance mining, but that's double checking to make sure that his opponent is not going for the cannon rush at the 3rd base.
I'm actually really surprised that Trap let this 3rd base, he let him get away with that. Back to Garimto once again.
Remember, he did win 2 OSLs back in the day.
Yeah. The first player I think to win 2 in a row, or 2 OSLs.
Yeah. And also, as a Protoss player, he's he's one of the original Protoss players who did well in OSL.
Exactly. He's like the MC of StarCraft1, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe not style-wise, but as far as success goes.
Yes, definitely.
Cool. Seeing some foreigner fans in the crowd.
Yeah, I'm still quite surprised that he just let the 3rd hatchery go without any punishment.
Me too. That is a little bit perplexing to me. I was expecting that he would definitely put down the cannon in there because he could have gotten away with it. He can just put up a few pylons. He already has his Nexus up. And, he wouldn't really be delaying much. He could easily have shut down the 3rd base.
He could easily shut down the 3rd base if the drones are already in. If there's tons of drones trying to take out the pylon, just cancel some buildings over there. And you already bought enough time because the drones were pulled off from the mineral line. So we're slightly complex, not complex, but perplexed from what Trap did over there. But he's just playing regular from behind this. He's getting a Stargate. He has the wall covered up at the natural. We just have to wait and see how Trap is gonna play this out. Is he gonna take a 3rd base behind this and try to play a little bit more greedy, or is he gonna go for a timing attack on 2 bases, or just play a really standard game where the Protoss player gets up to around 4 or 5 Phoenixes, control the map while taking the 3rd base behind this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is going into that kind of standard opening so far. because he is, starting to chrono out a few Phoenixes here. Let's see if he makes a second one or if he goes into the Void Rays. Okay, he's getting a second Phoenix, so he's going to get a few Phoenix, do a little bit of harassment. He's even not afraid to reveal it. He had to quickly pick off that overload. I guess he doesn't want to show off the Robo, but I mean, he can anticipate that it's eventually coming.
Yeah, and he does double check the Robo, and that's only trying to hide the Robo away from his opponent, but this is the difference between getting the 4 gate before the Robo and getting the up to 4 gates after the Robo.
Alright, +1 attack on the way for our Protoss player Trap from SDX Seoul. Adding on a few additional gateways in the back here. Interesting location for them, but I mean, I guess it works out.
These two is going to say that this is not going to be a normal play from Trap.
I had a feeling there was going to be a pretty big deviation in the games, and the Phoenix here, there's only a few out, and he's already forced a lot of Spore Crawlers. Now, let's not forget, Zero got an early third expansion, so he's going to have the economy a lot faster than anyone.
Yeah, but if he can hit a perfect timing before the units are out, then he can crush his opponent. But the problem is, if he gives Zero too much time to make sure that he can get the units out, then this attack is going to get thwarted easily. And we have up to 8 gateways. 7 gateways, excuse me.
This is basically going to be an all-in on the Protoss player Trap's end. Overseer, he's going to scout some of the gateways here. I think that Zero, if he can scout everything in time, then he should be okay here.
He sees the upgrades going on, he sees the gateways, and he sees up to 4 gateways inside the main base. Now he's saying, well, that's a little bit more, and he double confirms it with 2 gateways next to the Robo. But remember, he did not scout the Warp Prism moving outside of the main base.
Well, look at this Zero. It's like he already knows, man. It's like he's got map hacks in this situation. And the Warp Prism going to go ahead and drop a few sentries here, potentially do a force field here. Sorry, guys, a little bit of issues with the video. We're going to get that fixed as soon as possible. But from what we saw,
looks like we are back right now. We do have the force field down, but that's not going to result. And the Roaches and the Greens are just pulling off from the middle line, and those sentries are going to get taken out easily. So the first attack from Trap not going to work out as well.
Looks like Zero's been able to thwart this attack pretty easily, actually. I mean, the aggression's not over yet. Maybe with this additional warping, he can do some damage. With those Hydras and Queens on the high ground, the economy is still, completely thriving for Zero as well. I don't think this is going to end up working out here for Trap.
And the problem is he's not doing this to make sure he buys enough time to get a 4th base out behind this. We don't see a, 3rd base. We don't see a 3rd Nexus going down around the 3rd right now. In fact, all Trap is doing right now is getting the Immortal and now getting the Colossus out. Now making additional probes, but I was a little bit disappointed. He had up to 700 minerals and he did not build a 3rd base.
It's actually doing a good amount of damage here. Filling up the 5 workers before finally being picked off there. 11 in total. So, I mean, even though the attack didn't finish off Zero by any means, at least he did some economic damage. Here's an additional drop as well. Zealot's going to get picked up very quickly, actually, and thanks to that Warp Prism speed buff that we had in a recent patch, those Hydras will not be able to pick off the Warp Prism.
Yeah, well, the Warp Prism is not going to move from that position at all, because if he just moves a little bit, the Hydras can pick off the Warp Prism easily.
Yeah, he's in no man's land at this point. And Zero, I mean, he did lose a few drones, but his economy is still in an excellent position. His Spire is about to complete as well, and he needs to be careful. No, he's going to run into the Hydras.
Like I said, he's trapped in that little corner. Now, we do have the Immortals and Colossus moving out on the map, but remember, there's only 2 Immortals, 1 Colossus, and no Gateway units to back this up.
No, there's actually really not much here. And already, Zero's got a pretty solid supply lead as well. The Zealot's going to go to town on the Spire here. Looks like he's going to be able to easily pick that off, actually, unless we have additional reinforcements coming a little bit quicker. The Zealots, a few transfuses going off on the Spire, and is it going to go down? No! It's going to be saved. Excellent defense from Zero, and he's just getting more and more ahead of his opponent, Trap.
And you know why he's getting ahead? Because Trap doesn't have a 3rd base.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why he's sitting on 2 bases. Usually as a Protoss player, if you sit on 2 bases for around 13 minutes, that means you want to finish the game in 2 bases. You need to squeeze out a lot of units and go for a huge timing attack. Or if the timing attack doesn't work out, harass your opponent with the Warp Prism while securing a 3rd base, making sure that your opponent cannot move out on the map. We see the harassment happening, but we did not see the 3rd base go down until just right now.
Yeah, I think that Trap realized the only way he can win this game is if he drags it into the late game. And he's just not in an amazing position at this point. He's continuing to try to do some harassment here, but finally starting his +2 attack upgrade, also getting a blink behind this, and adding on more Colossus to the mix. The Corruptors, though, it looks like they want to kill off that pesky Warp Prism.
However, the Warp Prism is slightly out of the range as the Zealots are going to move into the third base. The Warp Prism needs to be careful, however, because it's just running into the Hydras right now in the minimap. Okay, it avoids barely at the last second.
More harassment, getting easily deterred from Zero's side, and he's trying to goop on the third expansion there, but we already see it under construction, so everything okay there. Infestation Pit on the way, as well as 24 Zerglings in the mix. I mean, Zero, nice, getting the Warp Prism as well, and taking a fourth base. Zero is just, he's prepared for everything, man. He's already maxed out. I think that he's actually going to go for an attack now.
Well, because there's no Warp Prism, there's not going to be any harassment inside the main base, inside the third base, so there's no reason for Zero to stay inside his main base anymore. He can move out on the map. He has enough Corruptors to take out the Colossus over there, as long as he doesn't suicide it into Blink Stalkers, as he's going to be in a nice position, denying the third base and the natural at the same time.
Nice Time Warp's going down here to prevent Zero from engaging the spot. He's getting ready for a nice concave flank, and his Corruptors are actually going to be in a pretty good spot as well.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to make it work? He's going to move in. Zero's going for the attack. The force fields are solid, and the Stalkers, nice control from Zero. Moving back, though, doesn't want to commit where there are too many force fields, so he still needs to get that concave if he wants to kill off this army here.
Yeah, in fact, because the force fields are great, it's just delaying timing attack, but now Zero's going to go for it. There's up to 4 Colossus, but remember, that's a lot of Corruptors just sniping on the Colossus.
And overall, the positioning pretty solid on Trap's end, but I think he's managed to do it. There's just too much there, and at the same time, Zealots are going to town on this third hatchery as well. The Queens and drones being pulled off the mineral line. Zero, and what was once an almost unusable position is forced back after that engagement. Excellent control. The hatchery isn't going to fall. No, it doesn't. Enough reinforcements pop out in time to save that base, but now Zero needs to worry about this strong counterattack that's heading across the map.
And the harassment has been fantastic throughout the whole game. Those Zealots are always going undetected into the third base. And remember, since the third hatchery is a little bit low, all he has to do is send a few Stalkers in there, use the Blink Micro, and take out the third hatchery easily.
I think he's actually going to manage to pick off that third base here.
Yeah,
Stalkers
there we go.
moving forward, and they're going to immediately focus fire down the hatchery, the units, and it's going to end up falling. Nice little victory there from Trap, and in a high pressure situation like this, something like that may tilt a player a little bit more than it normally would.
And this actually puts Trap in a much better position. Before we said his third base has been delayed, Zero's getting a fourth base at the same time, Trap is taking the third base, but just by denying that one hatchery over there, he puts Zero in an uncomfortable position, and now Trap's economy is even compared to his opponent. His upgrades are solid as he's going for the +3 right now, while Zero only has +1.
Yeah, Zero, though, he is getting 7 Swarm Hosts at this point, so the Swarm Hosts are going to help him out in the late game. Actually, up to 9 now in production. The +1 armor are about to complete as well. We have more Warp Prism harassment, though, from Trap, and I really like that he's being, so aggressive consistently throughout the game with this Warp Prism micro harassment. Zero, though, he's going to have to bring some units home. He needs to defend against this, and this attack could actually end up doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Zero in a bit of a panic position here is forced to bring some units back, but no, the Swarm Hosts do pop out of the main base, and they're going to be able to defend here, but at the same time, a large attack trying to focus fire down the fourth expansion. If you can get that base, then that's going to put him in a really good position.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused why he was just auto-attacking the guys over there, but it seems like he was microing his units inside the main base to make sure the Zealots can do a lot of damage, and now he's just going to go for the main army.
He's just pressing forward. Trap with some good control. He may be able to make a victory here, but the Swarm Host is now burrowing the additional units flooding in from the Zerg end. And I think the Blink Stalkers, they're great, but, they're just slowly starting to dwindle, and, the Zerg army, it can constantly renew itself with the use of the Locust. Zero manages to kill off almost all the Colossi.
But the damage has been done inside the main base, and remember, he took out every single Corruptor with the Blink Stalkers, and he also lost a lot of Hydras behind this.
That's true, and it's just turning into a nitty-gritty situation. We do have a hive already complete. The adrenal gland's about to complete for the drones, not the drones. They don't have the adrenal gland for the Zerglings, and that's going to allow them to deal with these units. The Stalkers moving forward. Can they get the hatchery?
Yes, they can. Oh, but he blinks out at the last second. If he just sacrificed some of the Stalkers, he could put Zero really far behind the game, especially since now he's transitioning into Stargate. He's getting the Void Rays out. He's getting a 4th base up, and Zero cannot touch the 4th base. In fact, he cannot push out on the map with the units that he has right now. Trap, he's done a fantastic job keeping his opponent inside the main base. Usually, if a Protoss player takes a late third into the game, the Zerg players, they just move out on the map, deny the third base easily because they max out before the Protoss player does. However, Trap, the Warp Prism was fantastic. It kept Zero inside the main base for a majority of the game, and now it allowed him to take out the third base, take out majority of his main army, and put Zero in a really uncomfortable position.
Oh, the Roach is going to get surrounded there by the Stalkers as well. The Void Rays added into the mix. I don't know, Zero, it's looking pretty bad for him at this point. The Swarm discount, it's not where it needs to be. There's no anti-air to deal with the Void Rays or the Colossi.
Yeah, in fact, you can just count on the third base right now, the 4th base, and the Hacker gets taken out easily. He can press forward for the attack, but he doesn't really have to because now he knows that he has more bases than his opponent, and Protoss having 4 bases compared to Zerg having 3.
It's not a good position for the Zerg player of the day.
Definitely. And now with the Observer being mixed in, these Zerglings are going to run by trying to pound on the third base over there. But remember, those Zerglings cannot eat away on the Colossus and the Stalkers of the main army.
All right, looks like the Zerglings are going to go for a counterattack at the 3rd expansion. Let's see if this forces away the army of Trap. It's a very formidable army here, but I mean, Zero, he just needs to do a lot of counterattacks and really just delay his fun as much as possible. Then pick off the pylon. The Zerglings can actually focus fire down the Nexus if they so desire. The Stalkers will hang out, and I think with their Colossus there as well, they should be able to easily keep that base alive.
And the key point is, the Nexus is still alive. No huge economic damage was done with the Zerglings. Yes, it did buy him a little bit more time, but it did not rebuy him the 4th base or the tech inside the main base as this moment, as he's only sticking to some of the Zerglings, but, you know, a few Hydras, a few Swarmos, but that's all he has right now.
Trying to see if they can go ahead and pick off the Nexus, but that's not going to be the case. So the Zerglings, once again, going for random run-bys, and they're starting to do a little bit of damage now, actually. Zero, this could be a way for him to get back into this game by constantly attacking the economic hard points of his opponent, and now we see the Locust continuing to do a little bit of damage, just really annoying. Corruptors looking like they want to deal with any type of potential drop here, and Zero, he's bought enough time to kind of bring himself back into this game.
Yeah, the Zerglings did a fantastic job now. If he can just use the Corruptors to defend against the Void Rays and the Colossus that Trap is moving out with, then he's going to have enough time to come back into this game, but he needs to make sure he buys just a little bit more time.
Alright, Zerg continuing to go for run-bys with a lot of zealots in defense against the Zerg run-by, and yeah, this is going to be held up.
We have the Blue Lords coming out right now. We do have the Void Rays. That's a formidable count right now, which means that Corruptors, they cannot count on the Void Rays, so I don't know why he made too much Blue Lords in this position.
The Void Rays just completely charging up on the Blue Lords, and they're going to get absolutely shredded apart. The ground army is formidable for Zero, but I mean, it's starting to get picked up, but it's still very close to go either way. The
Void Rays are taken out.
The Void Rays are gone. That means the Brood Lords are going to be able to do the damage they need to against this ground army, and at least for the time being, Trap has been pushed back.
And you know what's a mistake with Trap's play throughout the whole game? The Observer is not with the main army, or if the Observer is with the main army, it always gets picked apart easily before the main engagement happens. That's the reason why the Swarm Horse count right now is still at 11 after Trap tried to make all those attacks work.
So still a very tense situation on either end. The game isn't over by any stretch of the means. We do have superior tech, I think, for Zero at this point, but you know, Trap isn't too far behind. He needs, I feel, to get a few attempts out to deal with this army.
The problem for Zero right now is he has a formidable army, but he doesn't have the economy right now. The natural and the main base is dried out. We don't see a 4th base or 6th base from Zero, which means he's on 2-base economy, and as a Zerg player, that means you're dying right now. So the army that he has, yes, is fantastic against what Trap has, but once Zero loses the Brood Lords and the Swarmos, that's game in. That's over. Game over for Zero. So he really needs to be careful on how he uses the army, and he needs to take an extra expansion behind this or finish the game with the units that he has right now.
Still a very, very strong army from Zero.
Yes.
But a very formidable army, of course, from his opponent. And he does manage to get some more first before additional units can be warped in. But are we going to see Trap go for the attack against Zero? This is it. It's do or die. He's going to move in for the attack. The Archons are in a decent position.
No
but
Observer.
The Lords, yeah, where's the Observer? It's not the main army. He needs the Observer.
Yeah, and he's actually pushing forward too much right now. You know, if he knows that his opponent does not have any extra expansions, all he has to do is, you know, stick in that little position right there where the possible 5th base is, and just make sure his opponent does not take an extra hatchery behind this.
So once again, Trapped, I mean, I feel like he's being pushed back consistently here, and he's done a lot of great harassment throughout the game. Look at this, Zealot somehow sneaking by once again. He also keeping his opponent down on bases. But I mean, as time goes on, we have the Ultralist tech that can be added in at basically a moment's notice. Zero moving across the map now with his units. He wants to get aggressive with those swarm hosts.
He needs to.
I can totally see that working.
Yes. In fact, his opponent's units are out of position. The swarm hosts are in perfect position right now, as there's only Stalkers in the main mix. The Nexus Cannon does go down, which means he's going to have enough time to get some of the units back home. But now Zero is on the offensive. But also remember, that's still a high Void Ray count. That's still a high Colossus count.
Yeah, there's a lot of just high damage units in the Protoss army. They can't be underestimated. And we're seeing a huge miss rally, I feel, from Trap that he doesn't know about. He's now has 2 Colossi, 2 Observers over there, and this is the grand finals. This is where the nerves really, you know, kind of get to the players' heads. And, you know, sometimes it does cause them to play a little bit shakier than normal.
Yeah, in fact, Trap has the game under the bag. All he has to do is bring the 2 Colossus, go for the main attack. There we go!
Bring them across the map.
The key point is he needs to make sure the Observer does not get sniped. If he takes out the Swarm host, the game is over. He has enough Flame Stalkers to go for the Void Race. Hell, he has the Void Race to take out the Grillos right away.
He does, and Zero, he's constantly trying to go for run-bys, but they haven't been really too successful overall. The defense has been very solid on Trap's end. You
know, the initial Zergling run-by was fantastic because it put Trap out of position, but Zero should have expanded as soon as he knew that his opponent's army was out of position.
He is getting another expansion now.
Yes.
That 5th base. They're not really doing too much damage overall. Storm is completed. We have Psionic Storm now for the Protoss army. That's going to be very useful against a lot of these units that can easily clump up, or the mobile units, the slow units such as the Broodlords and the Swarm hosts.
Now Zero is doing a nice job. He's throwing away those Roaches and Hydras because he knows that those are not going to be useful at this part of the game. Decent units to defend against the Stalkers and the Colossus right now as the Observer is in perfect position. Finally!
Alright, we have the Stalkers pushing forward, trying to pick up a few of those Broodlords. Look at all those corruptors that are forced to be cancelled in the situation. Zero! His army count is not looking too great right now. The overall AoE storms go down to easily deal with the Locusts, but the Corruptors on in the air, are they going to be enough to deal with the Colossi? With the Corruptors, a nice, strong counter-attack from Zero, but he's going to be able to get that base, exchanging it for his own 4th base. The attack from Trap, this has to work, but no, he's being pushed back.
Well, remember, he didn't lose a 4th base behind this, and he killed his opponent's 4th base, which means that if he just takes out the Roaches over here, he is still in fine position. Remember, Zero, he's now down to 1 mining base, and their base is dried out, so he's starving for money. He has a nice army count, but remember, those are really slow, and the Blink Stalkers using the mobility, he can take out the 3rd hatchery easily over here.
That's the 3rd hatchery.
The 4th hatchery, excuse me.
The hatchery under fire,
yes.
the important hatchery.
There we go.
Under attack at this point, but it is gonna, you know, the units are forced away for now. Zero he's been counter-attacking all game, man, and I kind of wish it would work a little bit better for him, but every time he goes for the counter-attack, it seems like Trap's really prepared.
Yeah, these counter-attacks, this is supposed to allow Zero to take extra expansions around the map. So he's pretty much doing the 50% of the work. He's going for the counter-attack, which is nice, but he's not expanding behind this. And now if you look at the income, we see Trap having much better income than his opponent. He's getting a Fleet Beacon, he's going to add in Tempest behind this, and he knows that his opponent is starving out, so all he has to do is drag out the game, max out completely, and crush his opponent instead of making a foolish move, you know, attacking the Broodlords and the Swarmos with only Stalkers and Colossus and using pretty much aim moving into the main army.
Yes. Alright, so we've gone to a bit of a mini standoff. The Broodlords are going to once again There's the constant, harassment on both ends from the players that has been going on throughout the entire game, basically. The Tempest egg is not discovered yet for Zero, and he's going to need to worry about that eventually.
Yeah.
He's supposed to worry about this very formidable Blink Stalker / Colossi force, and I think there are still a few. Oh, that off, though. We have an excellent drop. The Warp Prism using the Zealots, killing off the Hydralisk Den. They may actually be able to go for the spawning pool and the Hive. Zero, he has to deal with these Zealots.
And this is actually perfect, knowing that his opponent only has Brewers and foremost, he cannot send the units back home. So what is Zero going to do? He's going to move out on the map. He doesn't have any choice. He needs to hit the attack before the Tempests are out. But we already have 2 Tempests finished, and these Zealots are going to town apart on the Great Aspire at the natural.
Things are looking excellent for Trap in this position. Zero, it's like he's starting to crumble here. He has to go for an attack. No, it's do or die. It's do or die.
Yeah, the Hive is going to get taken out. He does have a lot of Brewers and Corruptors in his army composition. If he can make the attack work, he's going to win the game. He takes out 1 Colossus, nice snipe from him. And remember, that's not that many Tempests in the main army. There's only 3.
There's 3 Tempests. There's also a single Infestor in the mix. The Tempest, their use here is going to be key. If he can manage to snap off enough of those. Oh, that's going down, though, on the majority of the Colossi and the Tempests as well. The Tempests are going to get easily picked off here. And the Locusts and Broodlords, all those 3 units doing their job against the ground army. The Stalker count, it's starting to dwindle here, but same with the Broodlord count as well. The Corruptors, they're going to pick off all of the Colossi as well.
Oh my god, he's actually making this work. The Swarmlords are still alive and well. The Broodlords did not all get taken out. And look at this Trap. He doesn't have economy to make any more additional units. Yes, he's doing a nice job with the harassment, but he doesn't have any units to deal with the Broodlords and the Swarmlords at the same time.
Dude, I think Zero may have been able to crack his opponent's defenses here, but he needs to keep this expansion alive. That's a good amount of units there that can go after the hatchery. Yes, he is going to go ahead and snipe off the base. He's returning into a base race. Zero is running out of buildings.
Zero is running out of buildings, but he has enough minerals to build 2 hatcheries at the same time and multiple extractors around the map. And remember, when we go into base race scenario, if the Broodlords and the Swarmlords are covering 1 single extractor, Protoss players cannot destroy it.
Indeed, that's true. And just the 3 units, they're worth their weight in gold when it comes to late game scenarios. When mana becomes an actual strong resource as well. In this situation, we're going to just see Zero, he's starting to slowly siege on the natural of his bonus bases, but at the same time, of course, Zero, he's doing his best. And the Broodlord, there's only 1 left to get picked off as well.
I think there was more in the back, but 1 Broodlord, using the 1 Broodlord really pushing right now. Zero, he needs to make sure he has a lot of units right now to destroy as many buildings as possible in the fastest time.
That's right, it's turned an all-out base race here. And this is really the only way that Trap can actually win the game, because he has good observers, but I mean, 15 Zealots, 13 Stalkers against a Fungal, a handful of Roaches, and the Zerglings with these supports. Yeah, man, I just don't see it.
So if the Swarmlords get caught out of position, his opponent's Trap is going to win the game. But remember, Zero does not have any hatcheries. In fact, he's only building extractors around the map. He only has 471 minerals. Trap has 0, which but I don't see any pylons outside of the main base. Now it's a battle between the unit not unit composition, but unit positioning between the 2 players. If the Swarmlords get taken out easily, the game is over. Zero, if he can snipe the Observer right away, remember his opponent does not have any minerals to rebuild the Observer, and that's the only single Observer that Trap has right now.
There are no Overseers in sight as well. There's no Overseers, and he can't build any, of course, as well.
Actually, is that the last building over there?
Those 2 are the last 2 buildings.
I think he's going to go for it.
He's going to go for it.
Yeah, he's going to go
for the base elimination race.
Hatchery is taken out. He's going for the extract. No, he's attacking the units right now. Seems like he wants to dominate his opponent completely. But can he get the Swarmlords in time?
This is it. It comes down to killing off these last units.
The Zealots are coming. The Swarmlords, and the Swarmlords are going down 1 by 1. The Corruptors can't do anything as their hatchery goes up once again. But Zero does not have any units to kill off the Stalkers, and the Zealots over here. The last extractor gets taken out. The Fungal goes slow down, but the last hatchery that just got built right now doesn't matter as GG is called from Zero, and Trap wins the base race.
Holy crap, what a back and forth game. Definitely the most exciting game so far of the night. I can't believe that Trap ended up winning there in the end. It didn't seem like he had the proper army composition, but he managed to do it. He did it, and Zero just, I guess, it sucks for him, but he ended up losing the game.
Like I said, the key point, the Brewlord is keeping them alive. Yes, losing one in that position might not look as important, but if you start losing units one by one during the base race scenario, it means that you're going to have less units when you actually have to engage your opponent's main army.
Exactly, that's right. Just overall constant aggression on both ends. There's such a back and forth game. The tenacity, the pull through in the end there. Trap's got to be feeling extremely happy and relieved about that win. And with that, we have STXO up 3-2 over their opponents here.
Yeah, well, it's 3-2, but it's not 4-2, which means Woongjin Stars, they still have to hope if Flying defeats Classic. And remember, if this is Classic's worst matchup, then we are going to go into ace match on Naro Station SC. But just going back to set number 5, Zero having a perfect decision-making, knowing that he was down in economy, he needed to go for the base race to finish his opponent. But Trap also making sure that his Gateway army does not engage the Brewlords and the Swarmos head-on. In fact, he also went for the base race scenario, knowing that that was his only chance to win the game.
Indeed, and you know what? Yeah, just overall crazy game. Like, there is so much going on there in the end, and I feel like I need to rewatch that game, that ending there. Just very, very climactic ending. So, you know, with this scenario, it comes down to Flying. For Woongjin Stars, he is going to either make it or break it, I feel, for them. If they can bring it to the ace match, it's still going to be tough for Woongjin Stars. They have to play against the ultimate ace player, Innovation, because some players would consider him the best in the world as well. But they first have to get there.
Yeah.
So Flying versus Classic, this is a matchup that Classic is a little bit weaker in, but overall still a very solid player. Flying, wildly inconsistent. He either plays completely amazing or kind of just like, what's happened there, man?
Well, he needs to play amazing today in this situation.
Indeed he does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go into a commercial break. When we get back, the 6th set on Neo Planet S between Flying and Classic.